Good morning, dear students. Our next session it is regarding different compounds, which by which this transition elements can form. Okay, so the first compound you have to study, that is titanium tetrachloride, TiCl4. Titanium tetrachloride. Titanium tetrachloride. Okay, so here this titanium, normally this titanium, it is about 0.58% in the Earth's crust. Okay, 0.58% of it is present in our Earth's crust. And also the ores of titanium, ores means from which that particular metals are extracted. Okay, so the ores are ores for titanium, they are the rutile ore, that is the first ore, rutile, RUTILE. Rutile ore, the formula it is TiO2. Okay, so that is the first ore, rutile ore, and the second ore from which this titanium it is obtained, that is the ilmenite. Ilmenite sometimes you have heard of, isn't it? Ilmenite ore, and ilmenite, the formula it is FeTiO3. FeTiO3. So these are the two ores, rutile ore and the ilmenite ore from which titanium it is obtained. And also first one we can see the preparation of this titanium tetrachloride. Okay, so this first method of preparation, that is by heating rutile ore. First method of preparation by heating rutile ore. Rutile ore with carbon in the presence of or in a current of chlorine. In a current of chlorine, that is the first method of preparation. So rutile ore means it is TiO2 plus carbon plus a current of chlorine. So we can write it as 2Cl2. In the presence of heat, we will be obtaining titanium tetrachloride plus carbon monoxide. So this is the first method of preparation from rutile ore. So first you have to study the three methods of preparation from rutile ore. Then the second one, by passing vapors of CCl4. Okay, by passing vapors of CCl4. By passing vapors of CCl4 over this rutile ore. Over rutile ore means TiO2. Okay, so write down the equation, TiO2 plus CCl4. CCl4, they are vapors, carbon tetrachloride vapors, giving TiCl4 plus CO2. Okay, so this is the second method of preparation. And the third method, by the action of dry chlorine on TiO2. By the action of dry chlorine on titanium dioxide, on TiO2. So TiO2 plus 2Cl2, dry chlorine, this is dry chlorine, giving TiCl4 plus O2. So these are the three methods of preparation. So the first one by heating rutile ore with carbon, second one by passing vapors of CCl4 over TiO2, and the third one the action of dry chlorine on TiO2. So three method of preparation from rutile ore. Then the second one from ilmenite ore. Then the second method of preparation from ilmenite ore. From ilmenite ore. So here this ilmenite ore, the formula it is FeTiO3, isn't it? So this ilmenite ore, it is mixed with carbon and also it is heated in the presence of a chlorine vapor or in the presence of a current of chlorine. So FeTiO3 plus carbon plus Cl2, that is chlorine vapors are passed over it. So 2FeTiO3 plus 2C plus 7Cl2, and also it is heated up to 360 degrees Celsius. Heated up to 360 degrees Celsius, we will be having a mass of FeCl3 and TiCl4. So this is a solid mass, FeCl3, 2 FeCl3 and 2 TiCl4 plus 3 CO2. Carbon dioxide is another byproduct. Okay, so this is we will be obtaining this mixture FeCl3 and TiCl4, and this mass, when it is heated up to 550 degrees Celsius, this mass is heated to 550 degrees Celsius, what happens is that the volatile TiCl4 will be distilling over and it will be collected. So from this mass, while heating to 550 degrees Celsius, this TiCl4, it is volatile in nature, and so this volatile TiCl4, titanium tetrachloride, it will be distilling over and we can collect that TiCl4. So this is the method of preparation from ilmenite ore. So ilmenite ore plus carbon plus Cl2 current of chlorine. Okay. The product obtained, it is then heated to 550 degrees Celsius. Then coming to the physical properties of TiCl4. Physical properties, this TiCl4, it is a colorless, strongly fuming liquid. It's a colorless, strongly fuming liquid, and also it has got a melting point of minus 30 degrees Celsius, and the boiling point is equal to 186.4 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it is a colorless, strongly fuming liquid. Melting point, it is very low, and the boiling point, it is about 186.4 degrees Celsius. And then coming to the chemical properties. Chemical properties means the reactions which the compounds will be giving, that particular compound will be giving. So that is regarding the chemical properties. So on hydrolysis, so here we are discussing titanium tetrachloride, TiCl4 on hydrolysis. Hydrolysis means excess of water. Here water will be in excess. So TiCl4 plus H2O, 2H2O. The product will be TiO2, titanium dioxide plus 4HCl. So this is one of the reaction of the first chemical property. On hydrolysis, in presence of excess water, we will be obtaining titanium dioxide. And again, if see here we are using water in excess, and the second reaction is that if water is not used in excess, what happens is that this hydrolysis, here a complete hydrolysis occur. But if we are not taking water in excess, then what happens is that only partial hydrolysis takes place. Okay, so if water is not in excess, that is a second reaction. If water is not in excess, what happens? Only partial hydrolysis takes place. Okay, so here write down the reaction TiCl4 plus here only one molecule of H2O giving TiOCl2, that is titanium oxychloride, TiOCl2 plus 2HCl. So this is titanium oxychloride. So this is the second reaction. So two conditions. First one, if water is in excess, TiO2. If water is not in excess or a limited supply of water, means titanium oxychloride will be the product. Okay. Then the next reaction, the third reaction, this titanium chloride, tetrachloride, it can be reduced using any strong reducing agents. So it can be reduced to its corresponding free metal ions. Okay, so here titanium tetrachloride on reduction. Reduction means addition of hydrogen, isn't it? On reduction, for reduction we can use this metal, either magnesium or sodium hydride, any reducing agents we can use. So in presence of this reducing agents, or it can be reduced by using a silent electric discharge, or by using amalgamated sodium, that is Na/Hg. So these are some of the common reducing agents, and so while using these reducing agents, this titanium tetrachloride, it will be reduced to TiCl2, titanium dichloride plus 2HCl. Okay, so or in another reaction, that is TiCl4 at 900 degrees Celsius, titanium tetrachloride on heating at 900 degrees Celsius in presence of titanium shavings or titanium carvings. Okay, in presence of titanium carvings, the product obtained will be 2TiCl2. So this is the reduction reaction of titanium tetrachloride. So first one we discussed the hydrolysis, and the second one, that is the reduction reaction. Okay, hydrolysis and reduction. Then the next one, then titanium tetrachloride, when it is treated with hydrogen, in the next reaction number, it is 3,4. Okay, when titanium tetrachloride, when it is electrically heated in a water cooled spiral tube. Okay, electrically heated in a spiral tube. The product obtained will be anhydrous titanium trichloride, TiCl3 plus 2HCl. So this titanium trichloride, it will be depositing on the walls of the tube. So we will be obtaining titanium trichloride as deposits on the walls of the tube. So here we are using an electrically heated spiral is used. So there this titanium tetrachloride, it is reduced to TiCl3. Then again one more reaction is there in presence of titanium tetrachloride in presence of silver on reduction at 200 degree Celsius. Titanium tetrachloride plus silver in presence of at temperature of 200 degrees Celsius. The product obtained will be titanium trichloride plus AgCl. Okay. So this is another reaction. Then the next reaction. So this is also a reduction reaction. Then the next reaction with ammonium chloride. With ammonium chloride. Then see titanium tetrachloride plus 2NH4Cl plus 2H2O. So in presence of ammonium chloride, the product obtained will be ammonium chlorotitanate. The product obtained will be ammonium chlorotitanate, and the formula it will be like this: NH4 twice TiCl6 2H2O. Okay, so this is the product. The compound it is ammonium chlorotitanate. Ammonium chlorotitanate. Okay, so this is another reaction with ammonium chloride. Then the next reaction, sixth reaction. This titanium tetrachloride, it will be dissolving in concentrated HCl. With concentrated HCl, titanium tetrachloride, it will be dissolving. Titanium tetrachloride dissolves, and there it forms chloro complexes. Okay. Then the next one, that is the reaction with HF, with anhydrous HF. Seventh reaction with anhydrous HF. Here titanium tetrachloride plus 4HF giving titanium tetrafluoride plus 4HCl. Okay, just the replacement of chlorine by fluorine, titanium tetrafluoride plus 4HCl. Okay, so these are some of the reactions. So you have to go through this hydrolysis reactions, then reduction reaction, then the next one with ammonium chloride, then with anhydrous HF. Then the next is uses of titanium tetrachloride. Uses. See the first one, it is used to form irritating smoke clouds. Irritating smoke clouds and fogs. See, artificial smoke clouds and fogs can be it is used for generating or creating artificial smoke clouds and fogs, and it is usually used in the war time. Okay, used in wars. Then the next one, it is used for the production of titanium metal. It is used in the production of titanium metal. And also for this production of titanium metal, the process it is called as Kroll process, Kroll, Kroll process. Then the next one, the third use, that is the manufacture of rutile gems. Used in the manufacture of rutile gems and organic titanium compounds. So these are some of the uses of titanium tetrachloride for sometimes this uses may be asked for a 2-mark question. Okay, so for in the formation of smoke clouds and fogs, then production of titanium metal, that is in the Kroll process, then manufacture of rutile gems and organic titanium compounds. So then the next compound we have to go through, that is potassium dichromate. So this is about titanium tetrachloride. So the next one, that is potassium dichromate. potassium dichromate K2Cr2O7 potassium dichromate. See here this potassium dichromate in the laboratory. Laboratory preparation means only a very limited quantity we are preparing. So potassium dichromate, it is prepared by adding sulfuric acid to a saturated solution of potassium chromate. Potassium chromate, the formula is K2Cr4, isn't it? So potassium chromate on reaction with sulfuric acid. Potassium chromate plus sulfuric acid H2SO4 giving the product will be K2Cr2O7, that is potassium dichromate plus potassium sulfate K2SO4 plus H2O. So this is the laboratory method of preparation of potassium dichromate. So this is potassium chromate and this is potassium dichromate. Potassium dichromate. Then the next is manufacture. That means the large scale preparation of potassium dichromate. Manufacture. See here this potassium dichromate, it is manufactured from the chromite ore. Chromite. CHROMITE. Chromite ore. Chromite ore is FeO.Cr2O3. FeO.Cr2O3. This is chromite ore, or otherwise we can write it as FeCr2O4. FeCr2O4, chromite ore. Okay. So here in this manufacture of potassium dichromate, there are 4 steps involved. Okay. So the first step, that is the concentration of the chromite ore. Concentration of chromite ore. We can go through one by one. So the first step is concentration of chromite ore. Okay. So chromite ore, what usually while we have to obtain a metal, what we do is we have to concentrate the metal from that particular ore. So for that, the ore is first crushed. Crushed means it is powdered and then it is concentrated by gravity separation method. Okay, by gravity separation method, the ore is concentrated. That is the second step in this concentration of chromite ore. Okay. Then it is concentrated by gravity separation. Then this concentrated ore. So after this process, the ore gets concentrated, and after this, the ore, it is mixed with sodium carbonate. Though the ore is mixed with excess of sodium carbonate, and it is roasted. Okay. The ore is mixed with sodium carbonate and it is roasted in a reverberatory furnace, and also it has got a very high temperature of 900 to 1000 degree Celsius. So the ore is roasted in a reverberatory furnace. And also in the presence of air, in the presence of oxygen, this process is going on. So after this process, we will be obtaining this, the ore, it is iron chromate, isn't it? So the ore, it is converted to sodium chromate, Na2Cr4. Okay, so after this process, we will be obtaining sodium chromate. Okay, so let us write down the reaction, that is 4FeOCr2O3, or we can write it as FeCr2O4. 4FeCr2O4 plus 8Na2CO3 plus 7O2. Okay, FeCr2O4 plus 8Na2CO3 plus 7O2 in a reverberatory furnace at a temperature of 900 to 1000 degree Celsius. Okay, so this ore is converted to its sodium salt. So we will be obtaining 8Na2Cr4 plus 2Fe2O3 plus 8CO2. Okay, so these are the products obtained, that is sodium chromate, iron oxide and carbon dioxide. So here this sodium chromate, it is soluble, and this iron oxide, it is insoluble. Sodium chromate is soluble and the iron oxide is insoluble, and this is obtaining as a roasted mass. Okay, roasted mass. So when this roasted mass, when it is treated with water, what happens? This sodium chromate, it is a soluble one, isn't it? So when it is dissolved in water, the sodium chromate will be going into the solution, and this Fe2O3 will be left behind as a residue. So when this roasted mass, when it is treated with water, sodium chromate Na2CrO4 will be going into solution, and this one remains as a Fe2O3 will be left as a residue. Okay, Fe2O3 remains as a residue. So this is the first step, that is the concentration of the ore. And also here one more thing is that here while we are doing this roasting process, what happens is that a small amount of calcium oxide is also added along with the ore as well as sodium carbonate, because why this addition of calcium oxide is that calcium oxide, it makes the roasted mass more porous. Okay, it makes the roasted mass more porous, so that roasting, it will be facilitated. It will facilitate roasting. It will facilitate roasting. Okay. So this is the first step, concentration of the chromate ore. So first ore is crushed, then it is concentrated by gravity separation, then it is treated with sodium carbonate in excess and roasted up to 900 to 1000 degrees Celsius in the presence of air or oxygen. So after this process, we will be obtaining sodium carbonate, iron oxide and CO2. The sodium carbonate and iron oxide, it will be in a roasted mass form. Then when it is extracted with water, or when it is treated with water, sodium chromate, which is soluble, it will be going into the solution. And iron oxide, which is insoluble, it will be left out as a residue. So from the solution, we can obtain the sodium chromate. Okay. Then the next step is that the second step. So here this second step, so this is the second step. Okay, second step, conversion of the, sorry, here this is the second step, conversion of the, from this one, okay, from this stage, conversion of the concentrated chromate ore to sodium chromate, Na2CrO4. So this is the second step. So up to this, that is the first step. From this onwards, the second step. Okay. Okay, from this part onwards, the second step. So in the second step comes the addition of sodium carbonate. Okay. So here the concentrated chromate ore, it is converted to sodium chromate. Then the third step is that conversion of sodium chromate to sodium dichromate. So in the third step, we are converting the sodium chromate to sodium dichromate. Third one, conversion of sodium chromate, that is Na2CrO4 to sodium dichromate, Na2Cr2O7. So this sodium chromate, it is treated with sulfuric acid. Okay, that is Na2CrO4. It is treated with sulfuric acid, giving Na2Cr2O7, that is sodium dichromate is formed, plus Na2SO4 plus Na2SO4 plus H2O. So this sodium chromate is more soluble, and this one sodium sulfate is less soluble. Okay, so in the third step, sodium chromate is converted to sodium dichromate by the addition of this sulfuric acid. So the sodium sulfate, it will be crystallizing out from the solution because it is less soluble in the solution. So this sodium sulfate crystallizes out. Sodium sulfate, since it is less soluble, it crystallizes out. So in the solution, we will be having the more soluble sodium dichromate. Okay. And again, this solution, when it is concentrated further, on concentrating this solution, we will be having sodium dichromate crystals. Okay. On concentration of the solution, sodium dichromate crystals will be separated out, or sodium dichromate crystals will be obtained. And In the last step, that is in the fourth step, conversion of sodium dichromate to potassium dichromate, K2Cr2O7, conversion of sodium dichromate to potassium dichromate. So for this conversion, sodium dichromate Na2Cr2O7 plus 2KCl, it reacts with potassium chloride to form K2Cr2O7 plus 2NaCl. Okay, so this is the last step, conversion of sodium dichromate to potassium dichromate. For that we are adding potassium chloride. So this by adding it is a simple reaction. So sodium dichromate is converted to potassium dichromate, and also sodium chloride is less soluble in hot, and also what happens is that potassium dichromate crystallizes out, or we will be obtaining crystals of potassium dichromate, which is highly soluble in the hot solution. Okay. So on cooling it will be crystallizing out, potassium dichromate will be crystallizing out. So this is the method, manufacture of potassium dichromate. It is very, very, very important. Manufacture of potassium dichromate, only 4 steps. The first one, concentration of the chromite ore crushed and concentrated by gravity separation. Second one, by the addition of excess of sodium carbonate and when roasted in a reverberatory furnace at a temperature of 900 to 1000 degrees Celsius, chromite ore is converted to sodium dichromate. And in the third step, the sodium chromate, it is converted to sodium dichromate. Sodium chromate is converted to sodium dichromate. So for that we are using the reagent sulfuric acid. Again it is converted to sodium dichromate. Then again in the last step, sodium dichromate is converted to potassium dichromate by using KCl. Okay. So this is about the manufacture of potassium dichromate. Then the next we have to go through the structure of dichromate and also the properties of that particular compound, that we can see in our next session. Thank you.